Hi students, today's video is going to be on irregular present tense verbs. I commonly refer to these as yogo verbs, although once I explain to you what yogo means, not all of them are actually yogo verbs. But again, if I say we're going to talk about yogo verbs, you know that all of the verbs in this video are going to be what I'm talking about. So make sure that you are following along, you take notes as needed, and then make sure that you also write down any questions that you have as we go along. That's really important because you may forget your questions by the time you get there tomorrow. So write them down so we can go over them. All right, so this unit we're going to learn 6 verbs that are irregular in some or all of its forms. So this is, again, talking about the present tense only. So our 6 verbs are the following. Decir, which is to say or to tell. Venir, which is to come somewhere. Poner is to put. Salir, to leave. Traer, to bring. And dar, to give. You should already know the meanings of these verbs because they are actually on your vocab list as well. So let's start with the verb decir. The verb decir is irregular in all forms except for the nosotros and vosotros forms. So really this is a boot verb, but it's also what I call a yogo verb. I call it a yogo because the yo form ends in go. So we have yo digo, tú dices, él o usted dice, nosotros decimos, vosotros decís, ellos y ustedes dicen. And again, this verb means to say or to tell. Then we have the verb venir, and venir means to come, and this is really similar to the verb tener. And when I say similar, I mean almost identical, except for it starts with a T. The tener starts with the T, V starts with the V. So we have yo vengo, so again, that's a yogo. The yo form ends in go. Then the rest of it's a boot verb, so everything but the nosotros and vosotros forms have a change. So the E to an IE. Tú vienes, él y usted viene, nosotros venimos, vosotros venís, and ellos y ustedes vienen. So again, this looks exactly like the verb tener, it just starts with a different letter. So the following verbs, the next 4 verbs that I'm going to talk about, are irregular only in the yo form. So the other 2 had a stem change in some of the forms. These ones are only irregular in the yo. So the first verb, dar. This verb means to give. We have it on our vocab list with the phrase dar una fiesta, to give or to throw a party. The yo form is doy, D-O-Y. So although this looks pretty normal, if we were to conjugate it normally and just take off our AR and add our O ending, which is common, it would be do. And that sounds a little silly, so for whatever reason, it's just doy. The rest is regular, so it's an AR verb. We add our regular endings, o, as, a, amos, es, an. So yo doy, tú das, él y usted da, nosotros damos, vosotros dais, ellos y ustedes dan. The next verb, poner, this means to put. It can also sometimes mean to set, as in the case of poner la mesa, which is to set the table. This is a yogo. Again, the yo form ends in go. The only irregular form is the yo form. The rest take the regular ER endings. So we have yo pongo, tú pones, él y usted pone, nosotros ponemos, vosotros ponéis, and ellos, ellas, ustedes ponen. Next verb is salir, to leave. This is yet again another yogo. The yo form is a little bit irregular and ends in go. The rest are normal endings for an IR verb, so you take off your IR and add those endings. So we have yo salgo, tú sales, él y usted sale, nosotros salimos, vosotros salís, and ellos y ustedes salen. We have the verb traer, which is also a yogo. You need to be a little bit careful with this one because you also add in another letter in that yo form. You add an I after your A. So you need to make sure that you do include that, otherwise the word takes on a different meaning. The rest of the forms are regular, so you just take off your ER and add your ER endings. So we have yo traigo, tú traes, él y usted trae, nosotros traemos, vosotros traéis, y ellos y ustedes traen. So that's all of our verbs for this unit. So go ahead and make sure that, again, you took good notes, you wrote down any questions that you have, and make sure you bring those questions to my attention in class.